gentlemen, welcome back. We're at the beautiful, wonderful Suzuka today. You should be excited. I know I am. So we're just watching these people set their times. We see Tristan Jack is about to complete his lap. Let's jump on board and watch him finish it off through the Casio chicane and sets a 2:01. As we see Rankin finishing his lap, a tough one there. The three middle sectors not treating him well. Glenn on a hot one, should improve here. Puts in P9 so far. As they start to make their way through, we've got a bit of a grid forming with Tim DeVries making a name for himself again, second week in a row. Provisional pole, can he hold on? There's a few minutes left of qualifying, not a lot of checkered flags out. The time continues to tick. So we see Zach Blake move up into P12. Sam Monterosso, if I'm not mistaken, pulling up after finishing his lap. So the top 12 so far looking like a lot of the usual suspects, though I am not seeing Michael Voch with a lap in so far. Oh no, there he is, P6. Currently in a fierce battle with Alex Court for P1 overall. So will be interesting to see how that comes about. There's only 45 seconds of qualifying to go. Get ready, folks, because this one is about to go down. Suzuka, fantastic track. We've got T1, then a small left-hander, pretty much just a lift, no brakes, and you're into the famous Suzuka S's. You'll travel through the S's and spit out the other side and find yourself at the famous Degner's 1 and Degner 2. Degner, those harsh right-handers that will send you under the tunnel. That is the only circuit on the current F1 calendar with a figure 8 that crosses over itself, that little tunnel there that we just see on screen right now, conveniently. So that's 10 minutes done. let's see if we can figure out some info for you here. So, as I say, Suzuka Circuit, Figure 8, the flat-out 130R, it's exciting. The S's, the run through there to Degner, often difficult to get through without any trouble. What else do we have there? We have all sorts of things going on today. So, let's get ready for a significant night of racing. As I say, Michael Vogt, P6, Tim De Vries, P1. Let's see if we can get ourselves a look at the qualifying results, which we can. So let's have a look at what we've got going on here with our grid view. So tonight we have starting P1, Tim De Vries, Matt Webber. Joining him on the front row in P2, Alex Court and Elias Dugan will make up the second row there, followed by Rankin and Vogt, the Simline pair, although Rankin racing under the banner of Ragazzi Lenti tonight. The stable of slow boys indeed. Big shout out to you, mate. Making up our fourth row, we're going to have Matthew Dyer and we're going to have Brad Coates. Then Tristan Jack in P9, our leading bronze qualifier, followed by Brad Fenley. And then that rounds out the top 10. So moving into that sixth row there, Glenn Crallen and Phil Whiteman will be lining up alongside each other. And we just have a look through the rest of the grid there. So bringing up the rest of the field is Justin Davis, the Braze barbecue chicken guy, will not start tonight, nor will Sam Smith likely. So it'll be Zach Blake, Liana Healy, Sam Monterosso and Jarrett Stark there. So, should be all set for a very, very good field tonight. There we go. I worked out how to use that thing. I've got some fancy stuff going on here. Why does it look like the screen is frozen on my screen? It hasn't. They're just chilling. So, as you can see, that's our starting grid tonight, folks. Again, we have a look back here to the weather. Beautiful 21 degrees, 78% humidity and cloudy. No chance of rain tonight as we wait for the flag to go green. Only light winds, 6 kilometres an hour as they take on this 5.75 kilometres of absolute chaos tonight. And they are away. And it looks like Tim De Vries has made the jump early. Alex Court behind there. Absolutely no ado about it. Matt Webber looking to make a move around the outside, but they will settle into position there. Currently not too much going on at the start there, though I do see Zach Blake and Sam Monterosso has crashed. And apparently Michael Vogt has crashed. That can't be right. That can't be right. What's happening with our... No, they may have had a minor touch. Let's have a look through our standings as they sit at the moment. Oh no, as we watch Matt Webber around and into the grass. Tough start for him. It's going to be another week of recovery drive for Matt Webber as he finds his way back on track there. Now down in P8 and having to make up ground as Brad Fenley just has to give way a little bit there. Finds himself alongside Tristan Jack in a little bit of a battle there. Moving back up to the front, Aiden Rankin in the Simline Porsche heading into the hairpin, looking to have words with Alex Court. The two of them went toe-to-toe all last week and they enjoyed every moment of it. And why is my thing not doing what it's supposed to do? I think it's just a little bit behind. That's okay. Yes, they're still weaving. Sorry, I just looked at YouTube and saw that it is well behind what I'm seeing now. But that's okay because, folks, you're going to catch up to me and you're going to see it too. So, Aiden Rankin under pressure from Elias Dugan, who did qualify ahead, but Aiden has managed to make his way past. All right, and it looks like we've had a few incidents. Let's have a look. Looks like poor Glenn Crellin has had some trouble this week. Let's go back to the replay there. Now that the field has settled out and the excitement of the first lap is underway. Although we might stick with this battle between the two of these because Elias Dugan is putting all sorts of pressure on Aiden Rankin right now. All over the back of him as we see Tim DeVries and Alex Court just cruising away ahead as we see Alex puts in an absolute blazing lap time there. If I'm not mistaken, that time, a 1:58.5, a full second faster as we look and watch Elias and Aiden going toe-to-toe, trying to figure out what's going on here. This is just absolute madness, chaos, as we check out our time delta between Dogan and Michael Vogt. Michael Vogt having fallen off just a little bit. If we have a look between these two, Aiden Rankin and Elias Dogan, the gap much, much smaller. They slow down to the slowest point on the track, a balmy 60 kilometres an hour as they turn around and head back towards Spoon, getting ready for that run down to 130R, the famous corner where many have come a cropper. See that delta between Rankin and Dugan just very close. Very, very close. And we'll jump on board with Matt Webber, who, as I said, making a recovery drive again this week after another unfortunate start. I think he's had some bad luck in recent times, but if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back to the replay. I think that one might have been Matt on his own. We can go back and see what we can find out there. Let's go back to the replay of how Matt went from qualifying as we watch him throw it under Tristan Jack there and just back out because it's not the place for it, he has decided. So let's jump back on that replay. We see here, following around, just got a little bit too close, the dirty air, cold tyres, and the excitement of the moment just getting a little too much for him, and venture off track. And I believe we have a moment from the first lap with Glenn Crellin. Look what happened there. So it looks like we've got Glenn, who just a little too much trying to defend there. Pulled him right off the track, and he will make do, get that one back on track and get going again with no damage, no harm, no foul. But speaking of, we've just had a Glenn Crellin pass on Jared Stark as we watch that one happen. And we will rejoin the live race momentarily. This field's starting to spread out a little bit. Closest on track is Tristan Jack giving chase to Matt Webber, but they are a little distance apart. Still a bit close between Alex Court and Aiden Rankin at the front of the field as we jump on with Alex. Hi Alex's mum, if you're here with us again this week, he gives that shout out every week, so since I know you're watching, I might as well do it too. So, it can be a tough track to pass on here. Tim DeVries making it an even tougher track to pass on by being absolutely alien levels of fast up the front there in his stealth black Porsche. Everybody else doing their best, giving chases. We watch those lap times pile in, a little bit of variation amongst the team. We just see the gap between Court and Rankin there in our little battle box. Currently a little over a second with Rankin again coming under pressure from Elias Dugan, who is all over the back of Rankin again right now. So if we have a look at, let's go here so we can see what's going on there. So it looks like Dugan was 2 tenths. Can't be up, he's too close for that. Might have been 2 tenths. Yeah, sorry, he's 2 tenths above Rankin there. As we watch them cruising on through. Matt Webber, we go to the replay, him taking on this recovery drive. He's made a very good passer of himself out of necessity in recent weeks, as we see him take the opportunity for that hectic braking zone of the hairpin there to stand alongside and sort himself out. Matt will now get after Liana Healy, who is the next on track in the Iron Dames Porsche. And I'm just seeing up the front here, we've had a bit of an off-track, a bit of a moment for Rankin, but it doesn't seem to have cost him position. He's holding on. Little moment, little speed on the back end, gathers it up and pulls it up into the Casio Triangle. We jump back on live to see how these two are battling it out. Folks, I'm getting some news in. This is the curse of the commentator, is it not? This really is the curse of the commentator. My heart is breaking for a man named Matt Webber. I don't know what's happened, but the producers are telling me they're about to get us the footage of a crash involving Matt Webber there, who has been doing his absolute best to make it back to the front of the field after his earlier mishap. Let's go have a look at that. Just pushing. Red just bites him on the run through T1, trying to find his way back through those S's. He's going again with no damage. We return to this battle between Rankin and Dugan. Oh no! Oh! That will woo. Let's have a look at exactly what happened there, because I think we came back on board just in time to see poor Elias Dugan finding the wall. Let's go back and see that in a bit more detail. So Elias following along here, just pushing, giving it everything through 130R, and unfortunately that little bump on the curb has spat him, and that's a very, very high speed section to lose it. Did incredibly well to keep it out of the wall. Ooh. Then just a little love tap trying to get out of the way. That was a dangerous moment for Elias there, as steamed around 130R towards him. So Alex Court, a couple of seconds away from Tim DeVries at this stage. He's running the race well. We're hoping that this race isn't tinged by blue flags like last week, where unfortunately a bit of a tangle between him and a lapped car resulted in a race that he would have rather forgotten. chasing down Tristan Jack at the moment. Closing, throws it under into the Casio triangle. Can he get it done? Does Tristan back out? He does. And Matt Webber able to take that position. Let's go. Attempt number 2 to make it back up through the field. Get on board with Tristan here and watch him as he tries to hang on to the back of the famously fast Matt Webber. Looking for any action that I can bring you on track right now. Looks like we're soon to have possibly some action between Zach Blake and Glenn Crallan, with these two being reasonably close, although Glenn is pulling away. And I'm seeing we have potentially had another bit of a crash here, folks. So let's go and have a look and see what we can find out what happened to Liana Healy, who has been brought to my attention by the producers. It looks like the Iron Dames wing that we've just gone past, just waiting for the producers to cue that one up for us. And here we go. We've got Liana, Veteran Gaming Australia. Looks like just a little savage and ruthless with that steering wheel. And it's the back end that couldn't hold on. Or am I seeing things I must be? Because I was sure that that was the back end coming out. There we go. It's the famous Porsche moment when the inertia of a rear-engine car and the heavy part decides it wants to take the light part. It will spit you every time, and that's what's happened to Liana here. We jump back on board live to see what's happening with Zach Blake, who has just fallen off Glenn a little bit, another 8 tenths away. They've really just picked out a lot of space tonight, found themselves just driving around in their own space. We've got Brad Coates in the AITX Revolution E-Racing Porsche there doing his thing. See Liana Healy and Tristan Jack also in the pits. I'm not seeing a reason why that would be, but nonetheless, that's where my timing sheets are telling me he is. Is there a reason that the stream is absolutely goddamn packed with viewers tonight? Because, I don't know, I can't barely get a word in here. Do you just not like Suzuka? Is that what it is? Do you not like me? Is it my fault? Check out the interval between these guys. As you can see, Brad Fenley pretty close to Matt Webber. If I had to guess, there's been a recent place there. Let's get ourselves a replay of exactly what went on to make that one happen. So this is Matt Webber making his way past Brad Fenley. Looks like we're down into a spoon now. Yes, we are. Gets it done on entry. Drives it hard, and he will hold that all the way down to 130R. I'm seeing Phil Whiteman has crashed as well. So while we're looking at replays and while you can see that there's not a lot going on, let's check out Phil Whiteman in the Infinity Racing car there. The Mustang just looking for a crowd. Doesn't find one, just spins around harmlessly, a bit of a ballet, and That will be no harm, no foul for Phil Whiteman. He won't like losing the positions, but he will like that every panel is intact. So we get back on board and just have a look at those intervals there. Have a look at the gap that Tim DeVries has pulled for himself. Between Tim and P5, there's already 10 seconds between them. And we're 17 minutes into this hour-long race. There is so much time to go. It's just... As we look and we see who's extracting the most out of these vehicles. Michael Voch having a decent race in P4. In the single race service Lamborghini as he heads down into 130R. The question that asks, how big is the cutout in your seat for your bollocks? Because the more bollocks you have, the faster you are going through there and into that run down to the Casio Triangle to set yourself up for the end of the lap. And get ready to go down into the S's again. Start again for a brand new race. So we just have a look at the gap between Mick and the vehicle behind. He's a man of consistency, Michael Voch. Those are some very like-for-like lap times. You don't see too many putting them in that cleanly that often. Let's jump on board. Watches Blake with a little moment there. No harm, no foul. Just a little bit wide. Gathers it up and continues along. Watch them head down the, I guess you'd call it the back straight. They're not really corners. No, they're flat out all the way down the spoon from here as we appreciate the elevation changes with Vochi giving chase to his pseudo teammate. Often seen in a Simline livery, but races under the banner of Ragazzi Lenti. Slightly faster the last couple of laps, starting to get a wriggle on and wondering if maybe he can find some way, somehow to take on Michael Voch up the track from him. If we jump on board with Rankin, we see pretty consistently Voch pulling those faster lap times, reeling in a couple of tenths at a time. Another reasonably consistent driver. He had that 2 minute there, likely due to some traffic, but other than that, those times are grouped better than I ever grouped as a shooter. So we'll keep an eye on that in case a battle threatens to break out. Jump on to watch Liana Healy and how she dove down the inside there and absolutely closed the door, leaving no way for a response to come past, and gets the job done and grabs that position. As we jump up the front here with Alex Court, and we might just jump in the car with him and watch as he expertly pilots his vehicle around through the S's, off the throttle, on the throttle so smoothly. He gets off the throttle, gets up on that curb, gets back on it as early as he can, gets off early, gets it slowed down, and he is back on it. Minor lift before it slams back into it and heads down to Degner 1. Degner 1, absolutely deceptive at how much he has to brake. It's a late and an early brake, and then deceptive at how different Degner 2 is. He gets under the bridge there, heads down into the hairpin, not putting a foot wrong. If we look at the sector comparisons, he's pulled a good 10th and a half on Alex again that lap after Alex was faster through sector 1. Now, I don't know what you're thinking at home, folks, about strategy here and how that's going to play into proceedings tonight. But let me tell you, if there's one track that can chew your tyres to absolute pieces and make the car an absolute handful by the end of the night, it is the S's. So I possibly think maybe just biding his time there. As we see Tim DeLeo just sector after sector putting in purples and greens left, right and centre, and just continuing to put on an absolute masterclass. Imagine how fast he'd go if he had stickers on that car, because we all know a fancy livery gives you an extra 10 HP. Now, I'm told that Glenn Crellin is having a rough old time. It's started with this crash here as he's come through a 130R and down into the Casio triangle, only to lose the rear end and put it around. No harm, no foul there, no damage. He backs up wisely and then he gets out of the way. But soon thereafter, we've had another incident, and it looks like it's coming into Spoon potentially? No, into Degner 1. So, no, Degner 2. If only my eyes weren't painted on. So, finds himself sideways there, might just have to go a little bit easier down. Because they will be angry and upset at the abuse that they have been copping tonight. Jump on board with the live action. We're back with our leader, Tim DeVries, who's just cruising around, putting on an absolute masterclass. As Alex, again, faster in Sector 1, but immediately replied to in the other sectors by Tim DeVries. And again, no particularly slight intervals. Michael Voach in the number 20 Lamborghini with a second of Aiden Rankin. And to get the good numbers and know what's happening sector to sector, we'll jump on board with Rankin. And we can see there that Voach, they are so evenly matched, but Voach is just creeping along in sector 2 there. If we compare their lap times over the past several laps, we find that Voach is steadily, slowly, but surely coming at Aiden Rankin. He must be watching the front end of that grille getting larger and larger and larger and wondering, oh, as we see, Michael Voach just crashed in the background there, folks. We're going to go back and have a look at exactly what happened to Michael Voach. Let's see if we can find out how it all went down. Curse of the commentator, Michael Voach coming into T1. carries a little bit too much speed, and as he tries to force it to turn in, it just comes around on him and he backs it into the wall ever so gently. Little love tap there, and decides that's enough for him. A love tap is enough to decide he's had enough. He's going to party on Kimmy's yacht. Jump back on board with the live action, and Rankin now only having to worry about Brad Coates from behind, currently with quite a healthy interval between them. If we have a look at our battle box, we can see that he's found some clean air with Alex 3.5 seconds ahead and Brad 4 seconds as we see them crest over the hill on the run towards 130R there. We'll jump on board with Matt Webber, who, as I mentioned, we saw 2 earlier incidents. Poor Matt Webber found himself in big strife there as the car roars down over the start-finish line towards T1. Found himself in a bit of trouble a couple of times. Unfortunately, nobody to blame this week. Not that I'm accusing any drivers of playing the blame game. As we watch live and see Matt again does not like being on stream, as twice it happens, and he backs across the track and Brad Fenley goes around and goes past as he desperately tries to get that car spun around and going again. Let's go back and have a look at the offboard there of what happened. Oh, that was a bit early. Let's have a look here. So just too much speed there, sends it around, does well to keep that out of the ball. Kitty Little doing its job, but just the wheels when they touch that green, sending around again. Trying to get back on track. Realises he has to get out of the way of Brad Fenley, and away he goes. Gets the car pointed in the right direction and back into the swing of things. Haven't seen much of Sam Monterosso in his Castrol Ferrari tonight. As he hoons and hoons around. I think Ferrari. Let's see, am I an idiot? No, it's a McLaren, so I am an idiot. Alright. Gives you an idea, looking at the manufacturers here tonight, this very much a Porsche track. And it looks like Michael Vogt, after that spin, decided he is out, showing as one of the DNF casualties of this evening. Also, you may have noticed no twitching, no dramas so far. We have had a format during the week. And really, folks, I'd love to show you people getting into it with each other, but there just really isn't anybody close at all on track. On board with Matthew Dyer in the SNV Motorsports Mustang. Currently in P5, having a good run with Liana Healy, who found themselves unfortunately in the wall a little earlier, giving chase but a lap down. So top 8 still on the lead lap, but this field has spread out incredibly at the moment. We have decided that neighbours are not the sort of thing that makes life fun, and have decided to stake a claim on parts of the track, each to their own, leaving me to talk absolute shit and maybe take a break to drink Monster, as we see Aiden Rankin put in a lap 1/10 faster than Alex Court. Not sure that will be enough as we pass the halfway mark of this race. 32 minutes down, 28 minutes of racing remaining. What will happen? That is no good. I always love watching the Battle of the Mats. Matty Webber doing another big old recovery drive. So, yeah, definitely might have been some points on offer for you here tonight. Shame not to see you on track, mate, though. You're always putting on a good one. So, Jarrett Stark and Glenn Crallen here are the closest people to putting on a race right now. Just noticing a few familiar names missing tonight. So, Easty, hope to see you back next week. We'll have those busy times. That's why we have drop rounds, which reminds me. Let me pull this up again for you briefly. The Aussie Endurance Series, brought to you by the Hamilton RSL. Fantastic bunch of blokes. And ladies, all welcoming. So, if you're interested in endurance racing and you'd like to race with a bunch of blokes with an god-awful Australian accent, because I'm a goddamn yobbo, then come and join in. Come and head to the AES website. Join the Discord. Get involved. The more the merrier. These guys work hard to put on a brilliant race every week, and they would love to see you out there with them. They're extremely welcoming, extremely kind. Get on board with it. So let's just have a look at our sectors here and see what's happening between Stark and Glenn Crallen here. So it looks like Glenn Crallen continuing to close at a rate of knots, putting on half a second in the last sector alone, as we watch Jarrett Stark have a big off track there and just decides that the pressure that's being put on him by Glenn Crallen is not helping his driving, letting Glenn through to resume racing. Speaking of Matt Webber, it is not his night, folks. The producers have just told me, and we just saw him on screen there. Wing off the car, things not looking good. There he heads past. All right, let's get on board. Let's see what happened to Matt Webber. It looks like it's not going to go back far enough for us. He's backed it in around 130R, into the wall, just somewhere along the line. He's somehow lost a wing, so we need to see what's happened there, because the wing is still attached right now. Oh, he is having a time of it, getting that thing moving again. He backs it into the wall, shedding his wing for weight reduction, and it gets going again as Jarrett Stark takes to the runoff up ahead, possibly a little spooked into the braking zone by the appearance of that vehicle. We'll get back on board the live race for you folks. See if we can find anybody looking to break out into a race. We have Phil Whiteman here doing his best to push up the track, make something happen. pressure from Tristan Jack, though, who put on half a second in sector 3. We're going to stay on board with these two for a moment, folks. Because this is where your battle is happening. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to need a monster to get through this one as we watch them through the debris left from that earlier Matt Webber incident. Phil Whiteman doing everything to make that filthily wide Mustang even wider. Tristan just looking to make his way through as Phil comes across and covers it off into turn 1. These two are currently as close as anyone on track. Mustang and watch Tristan Jack close. That Porsche nimble through Deckman 1 and Deckman 2 and now into that braking zone. He looks to make something happen. Is he looking for a switchback here? Is something going to happen? Can he do it in the spoon? I think this is the closest we've seen these two all day. Absolutely riding the bumper of Whiteman as he thinks about a send up the inside and decides spoon isn't the place to make that happen. I don't think 130R is either. We're going to stay on board with these two racing for P8 and P9. As we just have a look at what our standings look like, it looks like I've somehow lost some of the... Oh, as Tristan Jack decides 130R is the place to make a move, chucks it down there and gets past Whiteman, makes it stick into the Casio triangle, and Tristan finds himself up into P9. In the points. So Tim DeVries, our current platinum leader, followed by Alex Court and Aiden Rankin. Brad Coates coming along there. If I remember correctly, Coatesy is a gold member. Matthew Dyer following him in P5, and then Brad Fenley. And then Sam Monterosso, our current leading bronze driver. Not sure who our silver drivers are. No, Matt Webber is a silver, currently in P13 after the dramas he's had keeping that Ferrari line tonight. You see Tristan now just starting to drive away from Jarrett Stark. From Phil Whiteman, I should say. Jarrett Stark behind Phil Whiteman, giving chase. As we see the race leader in the background, he'll be looking to navigate deftly and try and find his way through the traffic without too much drama. As we take a look and just see sort of lap times he's putting down and the time that he's putting on Alex Court on a lap-to-lap basis. The man is an absolute machine. Something about these Dutchmen. Must be something in the water in those canals of the Netherlands because they can drive. Porsche everything through 130R. 40 minutes down in this race, that's about the time you start to become a little bit scared if you drive a Porsche, because the Porsche will, at some point, threaten to just take that tail end out from under you. You go around 130R the same way you have every other lap, and suddenly it all goes devastatingly, horrifyingly wrong. So we have a look at the last laps between these folks and just see who's putting in what. And again, I have absolutely no close racing to give you right now. I also have a YouTube telling me I'm talking to myself, which is fantastic. Crosses that 200-hour mark before getting on the brakes, down into that hairpin, only to get on the power rapidly again, use every spherical track. See, Glenn Crowell has had himself a bit of mischief. Let's go back to the replay and see what happened to poor Glenn. And yes, I will have that overlay fixed by next week. Didn't have time. So we see Glenn just carrying a bit too much speed, getting on the throttle a bit too early. Tail end comes around, Porsche's doing Porsche things, but again, no harm, no foul. So we get back on board with our race leader, who is giving chase to Tristan Jack, having passed Whiteman earlier, and now looking to navigate that traffic and maintain his lead. Caught in the Quantum Motorsports Porsche with that Autism Speaks livery. I promise, folks, if the race happens to break out, I am going to go straight to it. We're just waiting and hoping for something interesting. 16 minutes of racing to go. They spread out early. Some of them have had a race plagued by mistakes, and I'm seeing that poor Matt Webber has not had a night favouring him tonight. Let's go back and have a look at the replay. What has Matt found himself in this time, having done himself another mischief? Looks like coming around Spoon, gets on the power, and just a little too much, just spins it around that little bit and finds himself, again, no real harm there, but Brad Fenley will come on by before he's able to rejoin safely, which he does. And I'm seeing, again, T1 trouble for Matt Webber. The Ferrari of him misbehaving badly tonight. Again, keeps it out of the grass. Doing a bit of a Tokyo Drift type race tonight. He will be getting frustrated behind the wheel. He will be absolutely counting down these last 14 minutes. As we get back on board with Matt Dyer. The SMB Motorsports Mustang as he takes 130R at quite the clip while making a absolute stunning sound about it. Pulls it up, that Mustang, that torquey V8 roars to life as he gets into it out of the Casio Triangle. Zach Blake currently in P12. Putting in honest laps. No team for Zach Blake. The 36 Porsche there. don't think he'll be too happy with his night. And oh god, folks, it's happened again. Matt Webber coming into 140R, and the rear just goes, and that one looks like it's going to be into the wall reasonably hard. Bit of a glancing blow, so the car's still okay. All the pieces are still there, but he's jumped into the pit lane now. We see possibly decided enough is enough for tonight. It's been a difficult one for Matt Webber. Though he is back on track, he is continuing on. You will give the man credit where it's due. The man has no shortage, absolutely none of determination. Drive through, that one was jumping into the pits there after a few too many incidents. So clears that black flag and gets on with things, trying to make as many championship points as possible count. Jump back to the live there as we see Zach Blake just recovering from a crash of his own. Liana Healy in the Iron Dames Porsche. Left two wheels over the curb dramatically there. Such a great corner to watch. Heading through Degner 2. Now working her way down to the hairpin. Getting on that power out to the curb, use all the track, and sending it down towards the spoon as we watch the gears and that speedo creeping up. Believe it or not, folks, who have we got there? Is that really who I think it is? Folks, you're not going to believe this. Poor Matt Webber just cannot take a break, putting it into the wall hard on the exit of Spoon. And around again as he's tried to come on track. He will be looking forward to getting on a plane out of Japan, because it has not treated him with any respect tonight. That wing is gone again. Looks like he's going to need to ride the pits again. Oh, as we come off board, just as the lack of downforce makes itself evident by lifting off that rear 130R. So Michael Vogt and Elias Dugan, both front runners in Platinum, retired and out tonight. So Alex Court will be looking to make a big old statement on the overall championship. He's our current championship leader, and he is definitely looking to put a stamp on that and make himself the man to beat for the rest of the series. Week 9 tonight. We've got 4 or 5 weeks left, so the points are really starting to matter. And he might not be on the top step tonight, but he will be happy with the second step, I think. Tim DeVries, his second week with us this season, so despite the man having immense talent, he's probably not in contention unless we have some major kerfuffles for the other front runners. Looks like at this point, I'm just getting the information, Matt Webber's team has decided to retire that car. It's been through the wars. Rest in peace, Matt Webber's Ferrari. Tough night for the mechanics, trying to get that one ready for next week. And here's the man we haven't seen much of tonight, putting in honest laps and putting in a strong position tonight. Hasn't found too much camera time because he's just kept himself out of trouble, putting in clean laps, making the race work for him, letting the chaos happen around him, putting on a decent amount of time on Sam Montevideo behind him and finding himself with quite the gap there. Has himself a gap of 38 seconds to Sam, so he will be looking to, in fact, 38 seconds behind, 32 seconds ahead. Brad won't be looking for any heroics at this part of the race with just 8 minutes to go. He'll be looking to put in laps, bank those points, and bring it into next week. Strong finish for him. I was going to say could be our gold leader, but looks like our gold silver at our gold second step at the moment, because I'm pretty sure, as I say, my nicknames are all messed up. I don't know if it's my fault. I don't know if it's my overlays, but we'll find out. But yeah, at this stage, I'm not seeing everybody's. I see some people's class, but not everybody's. So I'm having to take a guess from memory here. I'm doing my best. Glenn Crullen, another man who found himself in some strife this race, but is in the points in that car that makes me hungry week after week. Tristan Jack behind him with a race threatening to break out in these last 6 minutes of racing. 1.6 seconds between them, and a significant delta creep from Jack. If we have a look at those last few laps, we've got, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 0.8, 0.9. So there's definitely enough laps for Tristan to catch and mount a challenge on Glenn Crullen here. And I think we're going to stick with it, because I think it's going to happen. I think this is where our end of race action is. This is where the positions are going to swap around. So unless we've got the white flag out, by the way, folks. So this will be the penultimate part of the race for those that are already this far in. I believe they're... No, they're not on the lead lap. So this will be the final lap for them. They will get the checkered, I believe. Which makes no sense to me. I think my timer is wrong. It's telling me... Anyway, whatever. We're learning this whole... Easty hasn't turned up tonight, Scott. Not sure where he is, but no Eastman on the standings tonight. Sorry if it seems like a long delay. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I turned my stream quality up or something. I don't know, but it is quite a delay before it's getting to you. So I am responding as quickly as I can. It just takes time to get there. So we see Glenn Crullen has held on, and we see Alex Court behind, crossing the line. Tim DeVries, our winner. Alex Court in P2 tonight. Tim DeVries, our easy winner, continuing to take his way through, and 14 seconds. He has put on an absolute masterclass tonight, as we see checkered flags start to do their thing. Tim, do a burnout for us. Alex, do a burnout. Someone do a skid. I just want to see a skid. Matt, do a skid. Anyone, do a skid. as we jump around looking for the skids, and no skids are forthcoming, as Tim may not know that he has a checkered flag. But he just loves racing that much. That's why he's still driving. He's racing and pacing and taking the turns and thinking of someone for whom he still burns. He's going the distance. Aiden's going for speed. Hi, how you going, folks? How was your race? I probably should say who I'm talking to, shouldn't I? All right. Let's see. I'm just going to keep an eye on things in case anybody else joins so that I'm not doing the old leave them sitting there like I did to you the week that you didn't know I couldn't see you. Alex, pretty chill race. No real having to fight for that one. Tim kind of did his thing and drove away early on, and then you kind of just had space to do your thing. Talk me through what it was like from your side of the world.
Yeah, no, it was pretty chilled race. Once Tim was, as far out as he was, just ran my own race. I didn't need to, I didn't need to win the race. I just need to get good, consistent points the rest of the series, and so it was good. The car towards the end there through 130R was getting a bit twitchy, so I was backing off a little bit, but I was still, under the 2-minute lap barrier most of the time. But yeah, no, it was a pretty chilled race. It was good.
The Porsche does have a tendency to terrify me through 130R on low fuel, especially. It's all right. And Rankin, third step tonight for you, mate. Talk me through your race. I see you came under a bit of pressure, and then one Michael Voch, who I'm sure won't mind me putting it on him. In a little moment, had a dummy spit and stormed off to spend the rest of the race partying with Kimi Räikkönen on Kimi's yacht. Talk me through it.
Yeah, I sort of had no pace from before the race started because I hit the back of Alex, so I apologise for that, Alex. I'm not sure why the lead car stopped in the middle of the track and caused it all, but I think there was a few people might have got a bit of damage from that. But yeah, otherwise I had no pace to do anything after the front end got stoved in. I thought Mick probably would have caught me, but fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, he made that mistake and went off. So yeah, bit of a boring one probably for me tonight. I sort of just drove around and did 28 laps and got out. Did nothing.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. All right.
I was just going to say, I just saw the back of my car, how much damage I had. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. And I went back to watch the replay to see what happened there, and someone just stopped in the middle of the road for no reason. So is what it is.
A little bit of contention. Maybe that one's going to the stewards' room. We'll leave it up to them to make a decision. Brad, you also had, in fact, I think everybody did. I found myself talking to myself a lot and staring at the timing, just waiting, hoping, begging somebody to be doing something, and it didn't happen. So yeah, talk me through your race. You seem to have a pretty chill one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You won't find me with the fastest lap. Definitely the boys ahead of me are a lot quicker. Kind of my strong point is just keeping them consistent. Although I did mess up quali, which kind of set me back a bit, but just kind of kept it slow and steady. Had to manage front tyre temperatures a bit there early on, and wanted to keep my off tracks to a minimum because I knew that had come back to bite me. Facing a lot of understeer at Suzuka, but just kept it consistent, lap after lap, and slowly crawled my way up, and here I am.
One of the more brutal tracks as far as tyres go, I think. So yeah, I can sympathise with that understeer. It seems it's either that or oversteer caught a lot of people out towards the end of that race. I saw a lot of back ends going into fences.
Yeah, just managing. Luckily, I picked up on it early, so just managing that and lifting off at 130R, giving up a little bit of time there, but avoiding putting it backwards in the fence, I think is a pretty good trade-off.
I think it's worth it, and you've proved it by being right up there and well in the points. Matty Dyer, how did your race go? Talk me through it. We spent a bit of time on board with you tonight, but yeah, didn't look like you had to do much other than survive from what I saw. Everybody in this room, I think, is here because you kept it consistent when others found walls. Talk me through how it felt from your side of the cockpit.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring race, to be honest. Like, I knew Matt Weber had a much quicker car than me, but yeah, unfortunately, when I let him by, I think it was like lap 1 or 2, he spun it in 130R. And I was like, yeah, it's just got to keep it consistent. So once I saw him just keep having more mishaps, it was just really just keeping the times consistent and just trying to cross the line with no incidences.
Well done, mate. Congratulations and a good race. And Sam, the
Yes.
McLaren seemed to treat you well tonight. Talk us through your race.
Not at the start, just before the. I almost spun it into the pits. So finally got out, and I was behind from then on, but just tried to stay out of trouble and just pass a couple of cars and just keep racing, just be consistent, stay out of trouble, and try and do the job best as I could. Tyres were going off towards the end, understeering, like the other guys had said. And yeah, just kept going. Nervous. First podium. Full credit to you guys that do the commentary and the boys in the racing for accepting me as well. Just much appreciated, and I'm enjoying it immensely.
No worries, mate. Well, I'm glad to hear it. So on that note, I guess we'll do some shout outs. Looking for Tim in case he decided to join us. No, he's channeling his inner Dutchman, doing a Max Verstappen, and doesn't want to talk to us, which is fair enough. The Dutch and the media, they don't mix. All right, Alex, any shout outs tonight? Any final words, that sort of thing?
Yeah, as always, my amazing fiance for all her support during my racing. All my family, teammates, friends, friend of mine who gets setups for me and helps with setups every week. Couldn't do it without him. All you guys behind the scenes, broadcast, league, all the other drivers. Yeah, I think that's everyone.
Thanks, mate. And I will admit I have taken the time to give your mum and the glass of wine a shout out because I know she's usually watching.
No, not my mum.
No?
No.
That'd be Matt Weber, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Matt Weber, I think.
Matt
yeah.
Weber, right. All right, I'll have to remember that. I've got it wrong. All right. At least you boys have a better memory than me, so you can remind me when I'm stupid. Aiden, thanks. Shout outs. Anything else you want to say? No complaints about
yeah,
where
thanks
cars
for
may not have stopped.
No, thanks for putting the race on. Appreciate everyone that does the work to run it. Thanks for the stream, Justin. It's fantastic as always. I'd say thanks for the racing, but I don't think I did a whole lot of that tonight. So, but yeah, thanks anyway for the guys for flogging me. Appreciate it. And yeah, shout out to Simline for the livery, and that'll do me. Yeah, cheers, guys. See you next week.
No dramas. Yeah. And on that note, I will be honest, there was one stage there tonight, boys. I was looking at the timing screen just trying to find someone to click on, and there was not a car within 6 seconds of another car for position around the entire track. I was like, how? Like, you couldn't do that if you tried. All right, over to you, Brad. Any thanks, shout outs, so on?
Yeah, shout out to sponsors at AITX Revolutionary Racing. We've got AITX themselves, Shield Coat, Sudspeed, Kibby, and all the boys there in the team. Really supportive environment. Highly recommend if you want to get faster.
I like it. Thanks, mate. And Matt Dyer, over to you.
Yeah, thank you to you for putting on the broadcast. It's always fun to go back and watch it. Huge shout out to the admin teams for putting this all on, and thanks everyone for watching.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Sam, I know you've already given some thanks. Anything else you want to do, or are we calling it a day?
I'd just like to give a special mention to Tristan. I was looking forward to a bit of racing with him tonight, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But like I said, and the boys as well, just everyone in the community, in the league, you guys, wonderful. And I love looking back at the replays as well. Bit surreal, but it's fun to watch.
And I tell you what, you boys in the midfield, you impress me week after week, because nobody there has a spin and goes, like you guys fight tooth and nail for every inch, every position, and it's great racing, great to watch. Congrats, Alex. Congrats, Aiden. Congrats, Brad, Matt, and Sam. You've all earned your points tonight. The consistency saw you well. Next week has us at, you'd think I would be smarter knowing that I have to say that in a moment and have gone earlier. Next week has us at Magny-Cours. So, if I'm not mistaken, out to France. One of my favourite tracks, but one that I haven't driven for a long, long time. So, we'll be there for an hour for round 10. Pointy end of the season, guys. Just 3 more races to go. It'll be that, then Belle Isle. What the hell is Belle Isle? Never heard of it. Never raced there. Good luck, boys. And then finishing it off at Road America, one of my not favourites. I always get confused. Road Atlanta, I love. Road America, I'm glad I'm in the commentary booth. But you boys have fun. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone that joined us. Thank you again, and congratulations to the drivers that have done well and brought home points tonight. Keen to see how the championship sorts itself out. We'll see you in France, same time, same place next week.
Thanks, everyone.